In this video, we're going to review a 2013 Hyundai Elantra with 134,000 miles on it and why it is almost as good as a Toyota Corolla. Coming up next. 2013 Hyundai Elantra. This car is currently 8 years old because it is January 2021. This has 134,000 miles on it and it is in absolutely amazing condition. Vehicle is really clean. I just had it detailed, but I want to do this video and just kind of show you, 8 years later, 134,000 miles, why this car is completely surprised me and its abilities and what it can do. So let's just start with the exterior. So one of my biggest things is door handles. So how has the door handles held up? Amazing. Exterior, the moldings and stuff have held together extremely well. This is what I call the rain gutters up here. This has held together extremely well. So all these little pieces that used to fall off, Hyundais in the 80s and 90s, this is held together extremely well. Our rearview mirrors, look at this. Everything has held together really well in this car. I am just completely amazed by how well this car is held together. So exterior looks great. Always check bumpers and such just to see how they've held up over the years. No damage. We did polish the headlights, so they came out pretty well. The only thing is on the inside, I don't know if you can see in the video, it's a little bit of hazing, but that's coming from the inside of the plastic, not on the outside. Other than that, handles look great. The moldings look great on the vehicle. So this is what this thing looks like after, 8 years, 134,000 miles on it. How these assemblies, like on these lamps, held together. I am thoroughly impressed with this vehicle. I can't believe what incredible quality that Hyundai has come this far with. And this is a 2013 model. Let's just take a look at the inside and see if there's anything. I can't find really not much except just the lens on the exterior of the vehicle. I'm gonna check the shark fin antenna. Pretty much this vehicle's held together extremely well. The only downside, and maybe you could possibly see a little bit in the video, this vehicle did live up north for a little bit and I could see some hail damage on it. I don't know, because I feel like the gauge of the steel on this vehicle is pretty thick. I'm actually pretty impressed with it. So I think that was probably a pretty hard hailstorm that hit the vehicle. But other than that, it's got a little bit of sprinkle rain on it from right now just because it's very lightly raining outside here in Florida. But I'm extremely impressed. Very impressed with the vehicle. Let's check out the inside. I'll go over my notes on the inside. Okay, so the only thing I found that I could possibly find wrong with this vehicle would be just the upholstery. It tends to show some of the stains. It shows a little bit of the wear and kind of retains a little bit of the stains even after really good detail. But let's take a look at what's really important is handles. I am big on handles. And this thing, handles are great. All the switches are still here. The door, it's no squeaks, no shakes, no rattles. I've seen some vehicles after 8 years down here in the Florida sun that the glue to hold together this upholstery starts to bleed through and leaves like these strange dots. The controls, your audio and your cruise controls, all extremely well. A lot of Nissans, I see this chip away, which this didn't do too bad. As I said, 134,000 miles. It is expected to find a lot of wear and damage, but all your little areas here, look good. All your controls have held up. Your audio controls. Another big area I'm on is these glove boxes. That held up well. It operates perfectly. Center console. Just pleasantly surprised with the way everything really works in this vehicle. As I was talking about upholstery, I think my detail guy might have missed this, but just tends to grab us a little more dirt than most interiors that I've seen. Okay, as I said, really impressed with the lot on the vehicle. Mirrors after time, when you go down the road, they tend to shake and rattle and squeak, kind of make a lot of noise. This one, drove it. I mean, I drove it like 15 miles. Nothing, man. I mean, it's tight. Took it up on the interstate. Handles up here. Very impressed with headliners. I am huge on headliners because I've had to replace a bunch of headliners. Like I said, I'm down here in Florida, and they tend to go bad. But I mean, just really impressed. The elasticity of the seatbelts, snapping back like it should. And the most important one is really to check the driver's one, and it's snapping like it should. It's impressive. Seat control handles, everything, you know, is done really well. So very impressed with this Hyundai. I am not easily impressed, but this car has really just pretty much wowed me. And as I said, I'm you know, once again, handles, headrests, seats are not shaking or anything like that. This plastic does seem to get scuffed up a little more than most cars that I've seen. The Toyotas, they do tend to wipe off a little bit better. Maybe just a little something in the polymers and the plastic. Not sure. I'm not a plastic genius, but I would just tell you, I just kind of noticed a few things, small things. I mean, so small that I'm hunting for flaws on this car. I'm trying to find out, okay, what's wrong with this vehicle? Why is it that, you know, this thing just looks really good? The upholstery's held up really well. I don't think many people have really sat in this back seat, but said the driver's seat's my biggest concern as far as upholstery and interiors go. But, you know, this thing looks really impressive. Let's check out the controls. Alrighty, so trunk area looks great. The trunk liner is one of my biggest concerns, to make sure those look really good and tight. It's, you know, nothing's coming down. This is one of the things that tend to give out over time. All these little points here, this one's not been in an accident, so, you know, everything is factory, it's tight. I flipped this over because it actually kind of caught some stains there from the previous owner, so not 100% sure how or why this retained some of these stains, but other than that, as I said, pretty impressive, really very clean vehicle. All right, let's see how this thing fires up. Starts up just like it should. I did have it running a little bit earlier. I mean, no warning lights on or anything like that. As I said, this has 134,000 miles on it. Idles like it should, right around 750, 800. As I mentioned earlier, all of our audio controls, everything. What I notice in cars is this climate selector of where you want the volume of air to go. A lot of times some of these things fail, and there's a little flap on the inside there which will fail, but this one's good. It's great. I'm going to turn on the lights inside of here so we have a little more illumination so you see what I'm talking about. Radio actually functioned when I fired it up there. It functions properly. All the speakers work, all the power windows, door locks, everything is working properly on this vehicle. Windows. Construction's going on behind me, so I apologize for that in our video, but I will shut those guys out. And said everything works really well in there. I mean, it is, like I said, really hard to find something wrong with this car. It's really impressed me. Very impressed with Hyundai's quality. They've done a really good job with this vehicle. So if this is something that you're considering and purchasing, don't be afraid. I would say definitely move forward with it. Let's take a look at the engine compartment and we'll go from there. So our engine compartment, you know, not a lot of signs of wear. What I do like about this Hyundai engine compartment, it does remind me of a Corolla's engine compartment. It's not busy like a Nissan. A Nissan just looks like, it just looks like a whole mess, a hot mess in those things there, man. But realistically, this thing, as I said, I'm very thoroughly impressed with it. You know, usually these little, these guys here fall off after a couple of years. But as I said, this car is ceased not to really amaze me with how it's held up. I'll take a peek underneath the undercarriage of the vehicle coming up here. All right, so last but not least, let's just check out this engine compartment, the undercarriage. It's held up extremely well. I don't see any strut leaks or anything like that. I mean, the car is just done really amazing. So as I said, really impressed with this car. So my final thoughts on this car, really, as I said, totally impressed. The only thing I could possibly find that would just be something that is so minor is the upholstery of the vehicle, as far as its absorption of, you know, stains and being stain resistant. It's the only thing I could possibly find with the car. Tiny bit of wear on the driver's seat. But other than that, I mean, it is hard to go wrong with this vehicle. My final thoughts is if you're considering purchasing one of these cars like this, 134,000 miles on it, don't be afraid of it. It is tight. It is just as tight as the car was when it was brand new. I sold Toyotas for nearly 20 years. I've sold hundreds of Toyota Corollas, possibly thousands of them. And I can get in a Corolla that is, you know, 200,000 miles on it. It still feels tight like this. This car right here is equivalent in its post warranty, its after 100,000 mile life. It is impressive. And so if you're thinking of purchasing a vehicle like this, go for it. Don't hold back. Just, you know, always recommend have your mechanic just take a peek at it. Make sure you don't have any codes or anything happening behind the scenes that we can't see on the surface. But, you know, I'll give this vehicle 4.5 stars is my rating on it. I would highly recommend it. I appreciate you watching. And if you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe for the latest content. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers. In this video, we're going to review a 2013 Hyundai Elantra with 134,000 miles on it and why it is almost as good as a Toyota Corolla. Coming up next.